Good evening. Come on in and have a seat. We're going to start in about 1 minute with the third of a four-part series, New Club Development Webinar Series. We're going to talk about promotion and recruitment, steps 4, 5, and 6 of the New Club Development process. We're excited that you're here this evening. We've got a great audience. Everyone is getting logged in and getting comfortable. And if you'll give us about 30 seconds, we'll get started this evening. Tonight's webinar will be recorded, and the recordings will be made available to those who have registered for tonight's webinar. Everyone's microphone is muted at the appropriate times. If you'll raise your hand, then we may have some time for live questions toward the end of the broadcast. Also, if you have questions, you can type those into the question box, and those will be answered as we go along. Tonight, we're excited to have the third of a four-part series, New Club Development Webinar Series. The promotion and recruitment, steps 4, 5, and 6 of the process. Our vice presidents have been so good to be very supportive of us, and tonight I'd like to welcome Vice President Patty Hill, who will speak on behalf of our executive officers. Vice President Patty, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing very well, and it's great to see so many people back again for another Monday in this series on New Club Development. This is such an important segment that we're having tonight, because I think it's the segment that most people struggle with. The recruiting, the asking, especially if it involves a cold call or our own deep-rooted fear of rejection. And so perhaps on a light note to start us off this evening, I would ask you to reflect on toddlers, on preschoolers who ask questions all the time and who get very used to hearing no, not now. And yet they survive, and it never stops them from asking again. And maybe you don't remember being a toddler, but as an adult, most of us have been or are in significant relationships, whether with our intimate partners, our family, or work relationships. And we all know, we've all heard the word no before. My question is, why would it stop you from pursuing a good opportunity again? So bearing in mind that we all survive the odd rejection or the odd setback, let's focus tonight on how we get to the point of success, how we work together through the promotion and the recruiting phases, knowing that we're going to hear the word no, but knowing that we will also engage with people who want to serve alongside us. So I'm excited for you to have this great panel tonight, and take lots of notes. Your questions, of course, will be welcome. Thank you so much, Jerome.
Thank you, Vice President Patty. You're always so kind and encouraging, and we're just thrilled when you're able to join us. And the international board meeting is going on, and our other two vice presidents are engaged in other activities at this point in time. Tonight, my co-host is Past District Governor Rob Hill from Constitution Area 2, Canada. Lion Rob, would you share with us why it is so important for Canada to form new clubs?
Thank you, Past International Director Jerome. Yes, it is very important for Canada to form new clubs. Our membership is down, and our ability to provide the services in communities that we once had strong clubs in has been diminished by the closure of some of those clubs. So we really need to revisit those communities and get back in there and form new Lions clubs again and get into communities that we haven't been in before, because there is a need for service out there.
Thank you so very much, Lion Rob. And of course, here in CA1, the United States and its affiliate countries, we too have a need to start clubs, because not only do we expand our footprint of service, but we provide leadership opportunities to so many more people when we expand and have more clubs and more opportunities for folks to lead. It provides a pool of great leaders and lions to move through the ranks from zone chair to district governor and beyond. We're so excited that you're with us tonight. There's a process, and we've talked about that process, the 10-step process, as we've moved along. And you know, we start with exploring those opportunities, but then we develop our team. And if you weren't with us last week, then you go back and look at that webinar and talk about steps 1, 2, and 3. Conduct the site development research. And then tonight, we're going to talk about promoting the new club. We're going to talk about recruiting charter members. We're going to talk about that most important informational meeting. And then next week, we're going to finish up with the last 4 steps: conducting an organizational meeting, submitting that charter application, receiving that charter approval, and then continuing to develop that club as we all work together to increase service, engage more volunteers, and expand leadership opportunities. We're excited to be here. We're going to start off with some audience engagement and some a poll right now. Did you attend the other webinars in this series? And you got 4 choices there. Yes, I attended the overview. Yes, I attended steps 1 to 3. All the above. No, I did not attend any of the previous webinars. Go ahead and open that poll and let our audience vote. We're excited to see how many folks we have returning to learn more tonight. We've got about 10 more seconds to vote in that poll. And then Lion Rob, it's all yours.
Thank you, Pastor National Director Jerome, and we'll soon see the results of this poll. Well, we've had the majority of our attendees tonight say that they have either been here or attended part of our session, so that's great to see. And we'll move forward into the rest of our presentation here right now, because we want to try and get through in good time. So I'm going to briefly touch on steps 4 through 6, and Jerome has already discussed them briefly. Step 4 is promoting the new club, and tonight we're going to discuss the importance of step 4, promoting a new club. We have 2 extension specialists with us who will speak to this. And step 5, the extension specialists will again lead us through step 5, which is recruiting charter members. And on step 6, one of the extension specialists will lead us through step 6, and we recommend using extension specialists in your districts to ensure success in new clubs, and to also help with the training of district lions about extension.
Thank you very much, Lion Rob. And tonight we have 3 objectives. We want to learn how to better promote a new club. We want to know what tools are available for us to charter that new club. And we also want to know, how do we conduct an informational meeting? Those are our 3 objectives. And when we finish this evening, hopefully everyone who has joined us will have gained some knowledge in those 3 areas. And we're going to be excited and pumped to pick that community where we're going to start a club in July and August. 200 clubs in the United States and its affiliates, 20 in Canada over the next 12 months. This is an exciting time. I'm so excited that we have 2 of our new club consultants. Last week we had 2 great consultants, and this evening we have 2 more. Past District Governor Lynn Day, who is from Ontario, Canada. He works in the retail industry, and he served as a district governor twice, once in 2005 and once in 2016-17. We're so excited to have you with us, Past District Governor Lynn. Why is it so important for us to start new clubs in Canada?
Well, it's very important because we really need to grow our organization, just like past Governor Rob said. New club development is the quickest way to increase our membership, and it allows us to increase the amount of service that we provide to the communities. And with that increased membership and increased service, we make a bigger impact in our communities. There's still so many communities, even in those that already have clubs, that aren't being fully serviced. And more Lions means more service and better lives for many people in Canada.
Thank you very much, past District Governor Lynn. And also then we have Lion Daniel Elkins, who is from Wilmington, Delaware. He's a drug prevention specialist. He's also the second Vice District Governor-elect. Lion Daniel, we're so proud that you would take time to join us this evening. And why is it important that here in Constitution Area 1 that we start new clubs?
So new clubs help us increase our capacity to serve our communities. New clubs bring in fresh blood and fresh ideas that help us innovate and allow us to serve in new and imaginative ways. By bringing in new members through new clubs, we can, the possibilities are endless of what we can accomplish as long as we can envision and do it. And specifically, I'd also like to add that the new club development process, working with the new club consultants, is another one of the learning opportunities that exist in Lions, because not only do they come in and help build a club, but they also teach and train the district on how to do that themselves. And this is part of why being a Lion is so great, these learning opportunities to help us all serve better.
Thank you so very much, Lion Daniel. You know, the step 4 of our process is promoting the new club. You know, we've already picked out a spot, we've done our research, and now we're ready to promote that new club. Lion Daniel, would you share with us your thoughts on how best to promote that new club?
Absolutely. So successfully promoting the new club is vital to the formation of that club. It is important to the district that they create a solid promotional plan. And while creating that promotional plan, it is also extremely important to involve and make aware as many members of a recruitment team as possible. The more buy-in you get from the district, the more your chances of promoting that club. It is also sort of important to understand that you need to follow these steps. You need to know the who. Who are the potential members that you are reaching out to in the community hoping to recruit? Does this club have a specialty theme? Are you looking for young professionals? Are you looking for people who are passionate about diabetes? Starting with the who will help you identify who you should be going after to recruit. The where do we want the people that are potential recruits to contact us back? It is important to be able to give a follow-up to your initial conversations that allow them, though, if they may not be ready to sign right on the dotted line, where can they go and learn more? So make sure when you are promoting that you have an email, that you have a social media account, that you have the district website or Facebook, that is all right there in one place. Now, one way to do that is to actually write a press release. And if you're unfamiliar with press releases, they're generally a page long that is a summary of your point and purpose. If you Google, there's lots of examples of how to do that. But I would recommend in the who and the where, as you write that, you put it into a format where you could just give somebody a sheet that has all of that information. So the when is, when are you having your informational meeting? Every ask needs to have a follow-up. You need to give them a direction of what's the next thing that they can be involved in. And the what, of course, is your elevator speech. So how do you entice them to be interested in Lions? What is your hook? What is your narrative? What is your inspirational 30-second story that you can tell them that will make them want to know more and join our association? So promoting the club is including all of those steps. But the most important of those steps is the actual ask itself. Now, having a great elevator speech is absolutely imperative. They call it an elevator speech because it used to be the time in between floors on an elevator. Could you pitch an idea in that amount of time? The perfect elevator speech has 5 easy steps. So the first step is determining your goal. So the immediate goal of your elevator speech should be clarity and understanding. Everyone who hears it should know exactly who you are, what the Lions are about, and how they could benefit from being a part of our association. If done correctly, they should learn enough from the elevator speech to want to join right then and there. Clarity is not optional, though. Use plain, simple language and avoid using titles or acronyms. I know, Lions, we certainly do love our titles and acronyms, but if you begin your elevator speech like, I'm the GMT of the GAT for MD for NAMI, and I'd like you to join LCI, the person you are talking to won't have any idea what you mean. You will lose them before you even start. So determine your goal and keep it clear and simple. And the second step is explain your solution. What is the need that Lions are serving in the community? What are the things that Lions are doing in the world to make the world a better place? Why might this person actually be interested in doing it? Now, I always advise people when you're doing a recruitment ask and you are explaining your solution, you should ask a question. And that question is, what is the person you are talking to passionate about? In that moment, you might find that they are passionate about helping the homeless. So then when you are making your elevator speech, it can be adaptable to that moment. The third step, explain what makes you different. There are a lot of associations and organizations and fraternal orders in the world. What is it that makes Lions Clubs International not only the largest, but the greatest service organization on the face of this planet? How are we different? What are the things that one can benefit from by joining Lions? So you explain what makes us unique, and in that moment, talk about our global impact and all those other things. And we'll get into those a little bit more detail later in this webinar. Step 4 is closing the deal. Now, this is a very important part. This is the hardest thing to learn, and you have to have a sense of knowing when to close the deal. Because if you push too hard, you will lose a potential member. So it is important to always get a sense of where they are at. Are they at the point where they would be interested in getting an email more? Are they at the point where they are interested in coming to an informational session? No matter what, though, while closing the deal, always make sure they walk away with an application in their hand. So should they want to join, they have the means to. They don't have to do the extra step of downloading something online. So when you close the deal, you are ultimately hoping for them to sign on the dotted line right then and there, but you are also being willing to understand that some people need to go home and talk about it with their significant others. Some people might be busy. You're talking to them at work. So you just need to know the when and how to close the deal. And step 5 is polish and practice. They say it takes 10,000 hours to become an expert at anything. How many of you have spent 10,000 hours trying to recruit a Lion? If you haven't, it's no wonder that we're not experts at it. It's okay. The motto, just ask one, why not update that to just ask one every day? If you ask somebody every single day to join Lions, you will get better at it. And I guarantee you, by the end of the year, you will have more Lions in your district. So those are the 5 steps to promoting the new club and then writing the perfect elevator speech in 5 easy steps. So let's give you an example of an elevator speech. Lions are men and women who make a difference. Every day, everywhere, with more than 1.4 million members in over 200 countries or geographic areas, Lions aid the blind and visually impaired, assist youth, feed the hungry, address global epidemics like diabetes. They answer the call when disaster strikes and make a strong commitment to filling other community needs throughout the world. Now, in that, you heard those various points. So they understand who we are, what solutions we are doing, what makes us different. Now, I always advise, don't memorize something, speak from the heart. So add your passion for Lionism into what you are saying, because people will hear that. But this is a good example of a starting point, that you can take this as an opening elevator speech and make it your own. Add to it your own personal flair for Lionism. So then, while you are talking and recruiting, it is important to let them know what are the benefits of being a Lion. And this is something that we should all take a moment to reflect upon. So we're not thinking of it in the actual moment we're asking, but you can tell them how that they can make a difference, that how there are over 48,000 Lions clubs in the world, and all the various projects that Lions are doing that are making the world a better place on a daily basis. You can talk about what LCIF has been doing surrounding the coronavirus and the pandemic and response. There are so many different opportunities to talk about how Lions are making a difference on a daily basis, including within your community. And that is something that would interest someone within your community. You can talk about how Lions serve with pride, that you get a sense of satisfaction from making a difference in others' lives. Now, in doing that, talk about that moment, that aha moment that you had when you first realized that Lions was what you wanted to do with the rest of your life, when you saw the smile on the face of someone you have served, because telling that story, they will know and they will hear in your heart your genuine love for being a Lion. You can talk about how you can build your network with Lions. Lions, in my opinion, provides one of the best personal and professional development and opportunities on the planet. The opportunity to connect yourself to a global network of people, over 1.4 million in over 200 countries, and to be able to connect those people in such a way that they will recognize and respond to the service that you are doing in your community. That is a very interesting thing, especially when you're talking to young professionals who are looking for their way to make a mark on this world, by letting them know that here is this volunteer organization that can increase both their personal and professional opportunities. That is a great way to get people interested in Lions. You can talk about how you can gain Lion credibility. That's sort of building on what I was just saying, but by serving on any one of the service projects that we are doing, that there are those who will recognize and appreciate the service that you are doing in your community all around the world. You can talk about how to develop friendships. Fellowship is something that I think just about every Lion loves at heart. And by letting people know that by using social media and the apps that are out there and the ways that you can connect to Lions on the other side of the planet instantly, it's such a wonderful thing. To be able to go to the conventions and the forums and have these lifelong friendships that are developed with people who all speak the same universal language of service, no matter what their background is a wonderful thing to help share and promote Lions. You can allow and let them know how Lions give opportunities for leadership. And this is a great thing. So whether or not it is the LCI Learning Center, or all of the opportunities that come through both club, district, and multiple district leadership opportunities, there's a chance for them to develop as a leader within their community. There's a great quote from former President Jimmy Carter, who said if he had not been a district governor in Lions, I'm paraphrasing, but that he would have never been prepared to be president. So Lions is an association that helps make, raise, and grow future leaders. And that is something that you can use to help recruit. But you could also talk about how Lions can receive global support. Now, this is a very important thing. that every Lion is supported by this global network of volunteers, that we are eligible through our clubs and our districts for grants from the Lions Clubs International Foundation to help support the causes that we are passionate about. And there are so many other, there's district foundations that also support things that are in the community. So showing that by becoming a Lion, you have more opportunities as an individual. There are more opportunities and support for the things that you're passionate about, and that your entire community can be uplifted through the service of a new club. It's a great starting place when you're trying to go out there and recruit new Lions.
Thank you, Lion Daniel. You've done a marvelous job of helping us with step 4, and it's time for our audience to get involved with us once again. What are some of the ways you successfully recruited new members in your club? And you can check all that apply: social media, printed material, service projects, other, or I have not recruited new members. Let's take about 30 seconds and mark all of those answers that apply, and then we'll look at the results again. We're down to about 10 seconds. And a drum roll, and we will see our results. Awesome, look at that. Our social media has been used by 41% of us. Service projects, 80%. Isn't that a great way to capture someone's attention and let them be involved in serving others and feel that warm, fuzzy feeling? Of course, our printed materials at 45%, other means at 59%. And if you don't mind, go ahead and type in that chat box or in that question box what some of those other ways that you have recruited members. We'd like to learn from you this evening. And then 5% of our Lions are listening tonight are very engaged, and they're just looking for their first opportunity to recruit someone to be a Lion and serve along with them. The next step in our process is step 5, recruiting charter members. And recruiting charter members is so important in the process. And our Lion Lynn from Canada is going to share with us his thoughts on recruiting charter members. Lion Lynn?
Thanks, Past Director Jerome. Recruiting members is important because if we don't have new members, we can't start new clubs. So, a little overload. For a new club to start, we have to have a minimum of 20 members. We are more successful when we have 25 to 30 members because that guarantees longevity of that new club. So when we go out to help as a consultant, we come out to your district and we help you form a process. We ask you to do some footwork and some legwork before we get there. We would like you to use the recruitment wheel because as a consultant, I may be coming from Canada to a location that I've never been before. So the local people know who they should be recruiting. There may be people in that community that they've done business with. You know, they may have reached out when they're doing the community needs assessment to the community leaders to get information. They may have relatives and friends that live there. They know local professionals or business professionals that they deal with or colleagues. So recruiting is a prime need for a new club. We have to ask people, just like Lion Daniel was saying, we have to ask anybody that looks like they really want to help their community. The team that's on the ground should have a list of people that they've contacted, and if they don't really want to contact them, at least a spot for when we get there as consultants to help us do that recruitment. So the 5 steps for recruiting charter members. Canvassing. I really like to go into every business in the downtown core and any business that I can find and talk to those people, those business owners, managers, you know, and we're looking at banks, insurance companies, investment people, automotive mechanics, anybody that has a business that would be somebody that we should be talking to in a new community to start a new Lions Club. So it's important to go knocking on these doors. We don't want to get into the neighborhoods, but we do want to talk to the business people. Limited recruitment. That's identifying key community members. And that's from that recruitment wheel that the ground people and the local Lions have already got for us. Then we want to actually have group conversations. And that would be with organizations that are already formed. Maybe community groups, we've got contacts with them that we can go in and speak to them and get a big bang or use the Join Together program for them. And then ground recruiting. That's like setting up a table at a community center or at a golf course, you know, at a women's club, at a church, anywhere that we can get a spot where we can have people see information and answer questions about what we do as Lions. Those are the 5 major ways to recruit. Now let's talk about some tips. We want to dress appropriately, depending on the community that we're going into, the type of businesses, the scale of the people that are working there, whether it's business casual, but we want to dress appropriately. We don't want to wear a Lions vest. We don't want to have a lot of the stuff that we'd wear at a work function. We want to look like respected individuals. We always want to start by trying to talk to the manager or the supervisor, because those people are people that, when we started Lions in 1917, we had business professionals. We want to get those middle management people, those supervisors that already know how to manage things. But we also want those younger people that are just starting out in their careers, because we want to be able to offer those new younger people the opportunity to gain leadership experience through Lions Clubs International. When you're going door to door, you don't want to wait more than 10 minutes because your time is valuable. And the people in the store, the office, or the business that we're talking to, their time is valuable as well. Don't carry too much literature. I would say a handful of very important information is to have either the Lions Make a Difference brochure or the I'm a Lion. And you can find those by looking them up on the GMT membership toolbox. Always have, like Daniel said, a membership application with you, so that when you're in there talking to them, you can hand that to them. It's got information on where they can look for more information. Always try to get their contact information, a business card, you know, somewhere that you can follow up with those individuals. Obtain clues on something that might be important from them. And make sure definitely to ask them for referrals. They may know friends or colleagues or spots where people would be that you should go and talk to, because they make great Lions. And most definitely have your own business card ready so that you can hand it to them. Make sure that if you have any other questions, to contact Lions Clubs International at membership@lionsclubs.org. And now I'd like to ask Daniel to join me, and we're going to go through a little scenario on how we'd actually go into a business and do some recruitment. Are we ready, Daniel?
Well, hello, welcome to my store, sir. How may I help you?
Hi, I'm Len Day. I'm with Lions Clubs International, and we're starting a new Lions Club here in your community. Have you aware of what the Lions Club does?
Yeah, aren't you guys the eyeglass and pancake people?
Well, that's what some of our Lions used to do, but right now we're really focusing on vision, diabetes, feeding the hunger, environment, and childhood cancer. And we have serviced over 275 million people last year throughout the world.
So you say you do some stuff with childhood cancer. I've got a nephew that has pediatric cancer. That's just such a painful thing to deal with.
I understand, and I can see that. I know some people that have gone through that, and childhood cancer is one of our new global causes. And in my own area, Lions have donated over $200,000 to Sick Kids Hospital in Toronto for pediatric cancer care. And in my own district, we're helping with Camp Buchagias, which is a cancer camp for kids. Lions can also help cancer families with getting some groceries, helping them with some expenses when they're away. So those are some of the things that we as Lions do for pediatric cancer. I know that you're a busy individual. Thank you for giving me some time. We are having an information session on Thursday at 7 p.m. at the local recreational center. Would that be something you'd be interested in attending?
Well, I might be working that night, but can I give you, my information, and maybe you can just keep me updated just in case something comes up?
Sure, I'd be glad to take a business card, and I'll leave you this application form just for you to look over. And it's got our website on there, so if you're wanting to look a little bit more into what Lions Clubs International does, you can look that up. And I'll email you tomorrow with more information about our information session or another one that you may be able to attend if you can't make it. Thank you for your time, and here's my business card. And if I can get yours, I'll get that from you. And have a great day, and thanks for giving me some of your precious time today.
Well, and thank you guys for doing what you do. I can't wait to hear more.
Thank you, and hopefully we'll have you as a Lions Club member someday. Thanks, Daniel. So that's how it is. And in the last 3 or 4 years, I've been able to, in my own district, form a club every year, and we are doing an amazing job. Is this something that you're interested in? Then we should probably come out and help your district. So moving on, recruiting charter members. Each day we collect information, and it's really important that one person tracks all the information and continues to get that on a growing list. We need to have phone numbers, email addresses, names, so that we can contact these people, because follow-up is very important. We need to get these contacts into lists of high interest prospects, people that are ready to become members. Then we have to make sure that we invite them to the information meeting. Then we also have to have other prospects. Maybe they're not quite ready to attend a meeting, but they're interested. So we continually have to follow up with these new contacts. Keep them on the mailing list, let them know of future meetings, talk to them, answer questions, give them information that may help them decide to become Lions. We don't want to overload them, but we want to make sure that they continue to be in the process. Then there's group 4, the possible prospects. Lists of names of people who may be interested, not today, but maybe in 2 or 3 weeks or a month or later. We need to continue to keep these people in the loop. We need to contact them. We need to, just send a friendly reminder. Hi, I know that we've talked in the past. We're having another information night. We're getting very close on forming this club, and we might like to see if you've changed your mind and would like to be part of it. And then there's the not interested. But if they've given you that contact, they really might be interested. So never get rid of that information, because once that new club's up and running, we can pass those contacts over to the new club executive so that they can follow up and try to make sure that they can continue to grow. It's really important, something that we have to really remember. Follow up, follow up, follow-up. In all the years of recruiting, I'd like to talk about Wayne Gretzky, the Canadian hockey player. His little thing is you miss every shot you don't take. So if you don't ask somebody, they'll never give you the opportunity for them to say, yes, I want to become a Lion. So remember, like Lion Daniel said, if we ask somebody every day, people are going to join our organization. When we tell people what we do and how we help, people want to join our organization. And then when we see us doing the community service, when they actually see us out making our communities better, they definitely want to join Lions. All leads got to be followed up with, people, and we will have a successful chartered Lions Club. And just like the slide says, make sure that after you've got that contact, you follow up within 24 hours. And then remind them the day before that the information session is coming up. So thank you. I hope you've learned something. And I'll turn it back over to you, Past Director Jerome.
Lion Lynn, you've done a wonderful job, and any district in North America would be fortunate to be able to invite you or Daniel to come and assist them in putting a club. Both of you are a wealth of knowledge. We're going to have our next poll here. Can you think of 3 people in your community that you could ask to serve with you? Yes, no, or not sure. 3 people. You know, you go back to that will that Lion Lynn was talking about. Someone you go to church with, somebody you work with, someone that you do business with. Can you find 3? Go ahead and answer that question, and we'll give you about 15 more seconds. And then we'll look at those results. My co-host, past District Governor Rob Hill, has had a few technical glitches, and he's trying to get back online and join us. He is doing such a wonderful job there in CA2, and we're so proud that he's able to participate in these webinars with us. Let's go ahead and look at the results here. Wow, look at that. We've got nearly 80% of the folks here can think of 3 people. Looking at our numbers, that would be over 1,200 Lions that we could invite almost instantaneously. And if we just got 10% of them to join, that would increase our membership by 120, but it would increase our impact of serving by 12,000 lives. This is an exciting time to be a Lion. And we've gone through steps 4 and 5, and now we're down to the most important informational meeting. It's an opportunity for us to sell our association to a group of interested people in the community. And Lion Daniel is going to share with us how to sell our club at the informational meeting. Lion Daniel?
Sure. So there are 3 steps to the informational meeting. The informational meeting is the first time the prospective members meet to more about Lions and this new club. Your objective is to build the new club's membership, fellowship, and prepare for a successful organization. So in starting to prepare for the meeting, the first tip is set the room for a few people. Now, this is a psychological thing. If you set up 100 chairs and only 15 people come, people will feel like the meeting was not a success, even if it is a successful meeting. But if you set up 15 chairs and 30 people come, and then you have to get extra chairs for them, that then sets the tone of saying people are really interested in this right from the start. You need to select the number of Lions present. You do not want to overwhelm them. So this is an opportunity for them to get to know each other. They will get the opportunity to learn the district and all of the Lions that are in the surrounding areas later. Dress professional. Once again, it is not recommended to wear a vest. So whatever the business casual / business within your community is probably the recommended way to go. Make sure to have name tags for your attendees. When you are attending a meeting for the first time and you may not know anybody there, there's just something welcoming about the fact that you can look around the room and see what each person's name is. It helps break the ice just a little bit. And speaking of being welcoming, make sure that you have a welcoming committee. As soon as someone walks through that door, make sure that there is someone there to greet them, to make them feel like they made the right choice in coming out, and ask a little bit about them. Just, break the ice just a little bit at the beginning. Your meeting should be informal and relaxed. Lions, we love our traditions, and the traditions are very important, but you want this to be a welcoming environment. So make sure that it is a laid back where they feel welcome to open up about that. So the second step, once you've prepared the meeting, is actually conducting the meeting. Welcome the group and then do attendee introductions. This is an opportunity to let them get to know each other. So if they feel like sharing a little bit extra, let them share a little bit extra in this time. The more they get to know each other, the more they will bond together as a prospective club. Introduce the Lions presence. And once again, I tend to recommend staying away from the titles. There's time enough to learn all of our acronyms later. Then you present an overview of the Lions. And so this is a little bit of our history. This is our service, what perhaps we've done in surrounding areas that they may know about. So you're giving an overall sort of overview of Lions. And then you discuss the benefits to the community and to them as becoming Lions. So this is your opportunity to expand upon the seed that you planted in your elevator speech. This is where you can water it with all of those opportunities that are available for people who are becoming Lions. The next step is perhaps the most important. You need to inform them of the cost of the association. That is something you don't ever want someone walking away misunderstanding. There has been previous cases where that has occurred, but you want to make sure that they understand that there is a cost associated with it, but then also the benefits of why they are paying. And it's important then to talk about how those funds are administrative funds, and all of that allows us to, all the funds we raise in the community goes back to the community. And that's a good opportunity to start talking about that. Ask the group to think of projects as the next step. Now, this is a very important part. It is okay to have suggestions for projects, but you want this to be their club. So find ways to empower them to have a conversation about what they might like to do for service. If it's a specialty club, you might have an easier job just because they have been gathered surrounding whatever that specialty interest is. But here's the opportunity to empower them, to make them feel like the service that they choose to do is going to define what their experience of being a Lion is. And if they feel empowered, they will want to become a Lion. Give the next meeting information right then and there, because the reality is you're going to have some people who join and some people who need to think about it a little bit longer. So always have what the next thing is so that they can follow up and come back to the next meeting. And then if there are those who are ready to sign, collect the charter fees of those members right then and there. So you've got the application, they are then paid, and then celebrate the fact that they are ready to join Lions. And if people see a few joining, it might inspire others to join as well. So that's always a nice moment. So then the third part of an informational meeting is the post-meeting follow-up. Send a thank you email to all of the attendees. If you have the time and you have the contact information, a handwritten note may be old school and traditional, but it shows that you truly are willing to take the time to show them how much you appreciate them being there. Send a follow-up email to prospective members who didn't attend. Now that follow-up email, make sure it is a positive and uplifting tone. We missed you. Here are some of the things that you missed. We hope to see you at that next event. Then you need to be promoting that next meeting, and that's still also using social media. But then try asking all of the Lions within your district if they know anybody personally in that area that might be interested in coming to that next meeting. And then make sure to send meeting reminders about the next meeting. Now, approximately 20 to 25% of people who signed up for the informational meeting will attend the informational meeting. Don't be discouraged. There are a few ways to increase the attendance, though. So follow up with the leads within 48 hours of initial contact or email. So within 2 days, make sure that you reach back out and let them know about the informational meeting. Make sure to invite prospective members to bring a friend. If people come as they bring their significant other or their brother or their sons or daughters, if they are coming with people that they know who also might join, it helps bring that club, prospective club, closer together quicker. And promote the info about the meeting via the newspaper or the radio. And that's at the very beginning, I talked about press releases. That's a great time to use a press release. If you do all of these things, you will have a strong chartered club. People will know who Lions are. They will understand why they're becoming a Lion, the benefits of becoming a Lion, and will already have a head start on ideas of the ways that they can serve their community. So if you are interested in conducting an informational meeting and need a starting point for a PowerPoint, there is an informational meeting PowerPoint, which can be found at lionsclubs.org/start-a-new-club. So the link is right there. I've used that document, and it is a wonderful resource that gives you the framework that can get you started with your informational meeting. And that brings us to the end of our discussion about informational meetings. I would like to do one quick call to action based off of that last poll. I saw that the majority of you said that there were at least 3 people that you know right now that you could ask to join Lions. So do that this week. Ask those 3 people and take a picture of a person with an application if you do get a member, and put a hashtag membership Mondays, and make sure to tag PID Jerome Thompson so we can get some brand new Lions out of that. Let's get those 1,200 new Lions right out of this call. Thank you very much.
Ryan, Daniel, you've all done a wonderful job as always, and we have a little bit more audience participation to go. And what is the most important part of the informational meeting? Do you think it's preparing for the meeting, conducting the meeting, or the post-meeting follow-up? Share your opinion of what is the most important part of the information. And we'll get our results. Look at that. The post-meeting follow-up, you know, it's building those relationships that are so important. Of course, preparation is great, but then the conducting the meeting, then the selling of our meeting is also important. That is going to help us as we continue to develop and refine these webinars and refining our new club development workshops and preparing the tools that you need in order to be successful. You know, next week is our final 4th part of this series. And we're going to cover steps 7, 8, 9, and 10. We're going to talk about conducting that organizational meeting, How do we take and move this group of interested people into a cohesive group with officers and a purpose? How do we align that purpose and passion? What's necessary for us to submit a charter application and gain approval from Lions Clubs International to form that club in our new community? What does that charter approval mean? The materials and the charter night celebration, charter members, but most importantly, we're going to talk about step 10. How do we bring this infant of a club up to a club that is surviving 3, 5, 10, 15, 20 years into the future, serving like we've never served before? You must go ahead and register for that at lionsclubs.org/virtual and be there with us next week as we continue to promote new club development. Now, it's time for some questions, and we're going to turn and ask our two consultants to log in with us. Lion Rob, if you're back on with us, chime in with your answers and your input as well. And we're going to turn to our staff in Oak Brook and ask them what questions that they have available for us at this point in time.
We actually have, this is Lion Richard. We have a question from Lion Joanne Ferguson. Lion Joanne, you've been unmuted. Oh, Lion Joanne, you're self-muted. You'd have to just click the microphone button so you could ask your question.
Is that, am I unmuted now?
Yes, you're on.
Okay, greetings everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to ask my question. How soon is too soon to recruit a new member? I ask this because I have Lions friends all over the world, and some people tell me that they would recruit a new member on spot. We go through a longer process here, but how soon is too soon?
Lion Lynn, Lion Daniel, how soon is too soon to recruit a member?
I would personally say as long as a sponsor, you are taking the time to educate them about the association that they are joining, that you are actually living up to the promise that you make as a sponsor to help them grow into a great Lion. You could be inviting people right away, as long as you feel that they are willing and able to answer and live up to the mission of Lions Club International and follow our code of ethics. I wish someone had asked me 20 years ago. So it's one of those things. As long as you're taking the right steps to help them develop into a good Lion, in my opinion, it is never too soon.
I have to agree with Daniel. And even if you're a young Lion, fairly new into the organization, you can be their sponsor, but somebody else may be their mentor. And it's okay to have a different mentor than their sponsor, because you may just be learning all there is to learn about Lions yourself. And what better way than to bring in a friend or a colleague that can go through that whole scenario with you, and then you can share that experience. So I really don't think there's any time that is too early to start to bring in a Lion. You joined the organization because you want to help. So why not bring more people in that want to help?
Lion Lynn and Lion Daniel, when you were doing your role play in a business, some of the consultants that have come into my area have really pushed hard to collect the application and a check before they leave that business. I noticed that y'all were had a little softer touch. What's y'all's thoughts about collecting a check and having a charter member before you leave that business?
In my experience, I've found that I've had better success of longevity when it hasn't been a harder sell, because they have the time to think about it and they really want to join. But of course, I'm not going to say no. If someone wants to offer me the money and they want to fill out that application while I'm in their office or store or place of business, I'll definitely take the time for that to happen. But again, sometimes I have a little different pattern on selling lions, and I like to be a little softer sell because people want to know what they're getting into. And before you commit, you should have a good understanding of what you're joining. And once they see the good works, because I like to show a little bit of a video on some of the works that Lions do, and I try to keep a very high level, because that new Lions Club is going to decide on the type of projects that they're going to do. And they may not follow all the 5 global initiatives. They may take on something different, and that's perfectly okay as well. And the great thing is, our club, our way, and we can do whatever we really want as long as we're helping people have a better life.
Thank you, Lion Lynn.
I would just add to that concept, it's about knowing when and where to close the deal. So I have closed more deals at service projects than in someone else's business. So if someone is there and they've been serving with us and said, this felt great, well, how do I join Lions? I'll take your check right then and there, because I know that they've bought into what we're about. So I just echo what Lion Len said.
And if I could just talk a second.
Yes, sir.
We had a grant for COVID-19, and we delivered coffee and grab and go snacks, and I made sure that we posted where we were going and what we were doing on a daily basis, and we ran that for about a month here in my own district. And I got a message from someone I talked to 3 or 4 years ago, and she said, I've been watching you and I've seen the projects that you're doing, and I'd like to get involved with Lions. And she filled out an application and sent me a check and became a Lion through COVID-19.
That's awesome. And here we are at the end of the hour and a minute or two over, but it's been such a great evening. Let me thank each of you. And I hope that as folks and Lions contact you, that not only will you be available to go to their districts and help them, but you'll take time to coach them along the way, because we have some do-it-yourself Lions and district governor teams that really want to get out and do it themselves. I want to thank everyone who has participated tonight in the webinar, our staff who's supported us, our vice presidents who continue to give us great support. I am so terribly sorry we're out of time. We're going to have to do this again next week as we look at 4 final steps. I believe that we're going to do a wonderful job. And let's invite those 1,200 Lions to become Lions this week. Let's finish strong and move forward. Thank you very much, Lion Lynn, Lion Daniel. Good night, and y'all have a great evening.